fancy ass shit I didn't know how to use, and it came with like $4,000 worth of software with it too. But he
That's
gave it to
how
me for
mine
free.
is, bro. I got like I only use like three functions on this son of a bitch, and it's got like all these different effects on it. It's
Yeah,
got like the sliders and all that shit, but all I use is just like the drum pad and the keys.
that's. I mean, you really don't need to use all that. You just gotta fucking. If you want to change the sound, you just get a plugin, like
Yeah,
get a
yeah, yeah.
plugin for it.
I'm about to have to buy like another Ableton thing because that shit. I keep running out of my tracks. I got the Live Light, but it only gives you 8 tracks, and I've been like stacking a bunch of different shit on top of it.
Yeah, get Adam to download you the bootleg version.
No, I'm gonna use it. I'm actually gonna use his like student ID. I was like reading on something online, and it said if I can get that motherfucker's report card, they'll give me like half off.
That's live. So
But
wait, so with his student ID, you can purchase it half off. Why is that?
well, they got a student discount. I think it's normally 50%, but right now it's 60% off. And bro, it's crazy. You can literally, as long as anybody's a full time student, you can use your like child's like report card from elementary school.
That's live,
This motherfucker finna hypnotize my ass.
bro. My mom gave me this shit last night, bro. I gotta tell you about last night. It was crazy last night.
Fill me in.
So look. So my mom, she ran into this guy at a bar. This gay dude, right? I mean, it's not really important that he's gay, but it is because that's how they became friends. Was because of him not being into women. So
Yeah.
they became friends, and um, this dude's like a fucking like a millionaire. He's a shaman. Like
Bro,
he's a
what the
millionaire
fuck?
shaman, bro. So listen, this is what she told me. So when she said shaman, I was like, all right, well, introduce me to your shaman friend then. So she introduced me the other night, 2 nights ago. She invited us over to his house here in Galveston. So we went over there, me and Ellie. And apparently, so we didn't know this, me and Ellie, but when we got there, he told us that he his family owns a modeling agency, like
Oh
a
shit.
yeah, modeling agency, right? So we're like, cool. So basically, uh, we vibed and shit. We were just talking, and then he invited us to Venice Beach with him next month. So he's gonna fly us out to Venice Beach.
Dead ass?
Swear to God, he's gonna fly us
Shit,
out
bro.
to Venice Beach, and like he wants to make us models for the company.
Fuck,
So
there you
last
go, bro.
yeah, so last night, bro, he had this party for the company, and we went. It was up in Houston. Shit was, it was like it was like it wasn't no like regular like party, like where everybody's getting fucked up. Like no, everybody here's got money, and they fucking it was all like fancy and shit. It was like all artsy, but like what's the word I'm looking for? It was like artisanal. It was like eccentric. It was just like everything in there was classy. The food was good. The show was good. It was all good. And then at first, like I thought, man, he was just saying that he's gonna take us to Venice just because, because I'm not gonna lie, he was doing a little bit of that Special K when we were over there, and
Oh shit.
he had the ayahuasca pin, and he let us hit the ayahuasca or whatever. So
God damn, boy.
hey, and so basically, he confirmed it last night with us and everything. So we're going to Venice Beach next month.
Shit, that shit sounds live.
Hey, it's a stepping stone, bro. There we go.
For for sure, bro. You
Yeah,
manifested that shit.
I did, bro.
I've been feeling like I was like cracked out all fucking day. Just like painting. I've painted like fucking 4 paintings
Damn, let me see
and
some.
shit. I got a portrait. The other two I just started them. I ain't finished them yet, but that shit was just like flowing out of my ass. So, do you know who Abby is?
Who?
No, you probably don't know. I was about to paint David Bowie, and I was looking through all these fucking images of David Bowie, and then all of a sudden it just came because he's got all that like makeup and shit like that, and it just like came into my head. I was like, bro, she does like all this like different weird eccentric makeup. It's pretty cool. And then I messaged her. I was like, hey, this because I haven't talked to her in a while, and I was like, hey, could you send me like some reference photos? I'm gonna try to paint you. So I like combined it, all these looks and everything, and then I did like a difference between her and David Bowie, and I just like painted a bunch of different shit
That's
all
dope.
around it.
That's dope, bro.
And then I'm doing a portrait of a dog. I started that for my
That's it.
grandparents, and then I just did that one. I call it the Three Clowns.
That's alive, bro. I like the colors.
It's kind of fun. I just started doing like watercolor and oil and mixing them together. But
That's what it's
that shit,
about.
that I read this chapter in that Creative Act book where it was talking about the abundance mindset and how you just need to like not discard your work, but just like move super super fast through shit and just like get shit completed and don't like
Right.
try to be a perfectionist. And then I just started applying that to it, and that shit just like all came out. And then I made like two or three songs. I just started. I drank a bunch of coffee. I just felt like I was on like meth or something, bro. I was just going back and forth from like fucking four different things.
Yeah, that's what it's about, bro. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find this quote I saw earlier. I don't know how to get to it, but it was just these quotes about that like it was a picture of Rick Rubin and then like quotes that he had said, and it was fire. But anyways, go ahead.
No, that shit just, I don't know. I just feel something like inside of me just like shifting from that. I don't know. It was more than just like a realization. It just felt like an actual like shift inside of me.
Like 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 that and speaking of that, what you just said, there's a scientific study done on that. And basically, when you when you learn information that helps you grow, when you when you when you broaden your perception of things and you expand your ability to perceive things in a different way that helps you grow, it actually does literally expand your brain cells. It helps connect new neurons. It does all this crazy shit. So like that shift you're talking about is a physical an actual physical thing happening to you and to your person, your whole everything about you is changing now because of something that you some information that you came across that helped change your or at least shift the perception.
It's just I don't know. I don't think I've kind of like experienced similar things, but like gradually over time, where you just
Right.
like all of a sudden look around you and you're like, oh shit, I think way different. But this was like strange because it was just like within a matter of like a day, pretty much. Like I started a painting, right? I started this painting, and then all of a sudden I went to work. I went to work yesterday, and I was just listening to that book while I was driving, and it was just like normally whenever I read the book, right? There's like a couple things I kind of like zone out sometimes, but it was and for the longest I was just like connecting through to Rick Rubin through like podcasts and shit.
You talking
And I
about the
kind of
quote you sent me earlier over the text, right?
what
Are you talking about the the quote from the page that the picture you sent me earlier, or are you talking about just something different?
the text messages that I sent you. Remember, I sent you them like early in the morning. I was
Yeah,
like driving to work, and all this shit was making so much sense to me because I've been kind of closed off with the art. Like I've just been kind of like very. I've been stuck in like the craft phase. Like I thought that like the craft phase is like all there really is, and like I felt like I wasn't getting anything done whenever I was like thinking up like seeds or experimenting. I was like, there's nothing physical here. It's just like a bunch of fucking nothing. And then all of a sudden, through hearing that and then hearing about the abundance mindset, and then like how your brain makes all these connections to things that you know. Like for me, it was like certain music I like and things like this. I was just like, holy shit, that's what I've been doing. I've been like beating myself down thinking I ain't doing shit. But I'm like, God damn, I just got to keep fucking going and go even harder on that stuff. You, I can't hear you right now. Uh-uh. There. I hear it now. Yeah. No, we're similar on that. We're similar on that note. Like before, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just like playing a guitar because I was like, oh, this shit makes cool sounds. Bam, 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 bam. Like that's all. Like I never made the correlation of like. I mean, I guess I kind of knew it, but I never like was picked up a guitar and was like, oh shit, I'm like sitting here making something. Like I'm creating something. And now it's just like I feel like I have like this childish or not childish, but like childlike sense of just like fucking making stick figures or crayons type shit. Where you're just like, oh shit, bro, this love. It's brought a lot of joy to my work, I guess I'd say. And see, that's the connection I made. Cause like I do that all the time, but I just thought I was fucking around. I didn't realize like, holy shit, this is like the seed part of it. These are the seeds that I'm coming up with right now. And it just, whenever you think about it like that, it allows you to just like further that, just like take them and actually go somewhere with it. And then that brings you into the experimental phase. And then you screw around a little bit, screw around a little bit, and then all of a sudden you have like a whole formation of a song and shit. Hmm. Like an accompaniment, pretty much. Just, you want to do that type of shit right there, where you like, God damn, this a project I just made. Y'all have it. Y'all have fun with it. Y'all listen. Y'all laugh. Y'all love. Whatever. I'm done, boy. Yeah. The the biggest thing is, like, I feel like you and me, we both have it inside of us to do it. Like, we love music so much that we have the mental image or even vision of what it will be. But for me, at least, I get super self-critical on certain things where I'm just like, I don't know." But it and I've known all along, like the shit Rick Rubin says, like you hear every fucking artist be like, make art for you, but I never made it click. And it's like now I've made it click. It's like I'm no longer thinking about how, oh dude, I gotta make something like a Basquiat painting or a fucking Picasso and make my money off of it. Oh dude, I gotta no, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. I know I'm gonna make money off of it. I'm just gonna make the shit how I want. And it's like I've unlocked that sense of like self belief where it's like, bro, 3 times today, or actually 4 times within the last week, is like the first time I've done it ever. I just like tell people about my art, and I'm like, hey, if you want me to make something for you, here you go. Or I'm making art for people as gifts now. So it's pretty, it's interesting. My grandpa is funny as fuck though, because he don't his like his palette whenever it comes to art is like, oh, the Mona Lisa is beautiful because it looks like a person. Like I show him like a fucking art piece, and I'm like, you like this? And he's like, no. Like he'll straight up just say shit like that. But then he's chill about it, but it's just like funny. And my whole time making art was I was thinking about that. I'm thinking about like the people who won't get certain things, and then I just like swap it, and I'm like, all right, I get it. If I get it, there's other people that get it. So I don't even have to think about them no more. I just have to think about what I get, what I intuitively like, that type of shit. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what he said. See, my whole like beginning, which was like probably 2022 and like April, whenever I first picked up my guitar after like 3 years, again, it was acoustic. I'd never played acoustic before, and I started covering songs, and it was shit like I got a list right here. I'm gonna try to read some. It was shit like "Where's My Mind," "Sweet Dreams," like the sweater weather, like punk type shit, and I cover it. But then I noticed something weird. And this is the feeling you get from whenever you make a true expression from yourself. I was getting it from these songs because I was kind of covering them in my own way. And it just felt like this raw. It's like, have you ever seen the Bohemian Rhapsody movie? The Queen? Bro, do you know the part whenever he's sitting on the piano and he first finds like the words for Bohemian Rhapsody, and he like blurts them out, and it's like you see him like tremble. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's just like, it's like the most raw, true form of expression. Well, I was feeling that whenever I would cover certain songs. Not, it was like real genuine. And I would record them and I would try to put some of them out there. And I was real self critical on the shit. So I stopped doing it. But I never really, for the longest time, I never found how to achieve that level in my own music. Like whenever I would make my own music, it was just kind of like I was replicating something and just going through the motions. And it's hard to explain, but if you combine those two elements, and the only way I could describe them is like just like a belt. Like just like if you ever like singing like people singing in the shower and shit like that, you're not thinking about anything else but just like it's just like really an emotional type thing because you don't nobody else is there. And if you can combine that with like an abundant mindset of just like this isn't my masterpiece and you just like come up with like a backing track chord or whatever type of music, then that's pretty much like my formula on how I've found to make my music where I actually enjoy it myself. Was it Mike Dean? No, bro. Mike Dean, the synth god, bro. That motherfucker does like whole concerts with just like synths spread out. He doesn't say any words or nothing. He just feels that shit out like a fucking freestyle every time. A 2 hour freestyle. Have you ever listened to the Grateful Dead? See the thing about my dad's dad put me on to the Grateful Dead. He's that guy I told you about where like he literally is like Rick Rubin, but he doesn't make music. He he has like fucking all of his money tied up into like a room with just speakers and records, and he'll just lay there for like hours just listening to music. And I was like telling him, I was like, I don't really understand the Grateful Dead. He had a big poster and he was a big Deadhead. And what he explained was like the Grateful Dead's records aren't what's good. It's like these live performances from the Grateful Dead where they like through freestyling and like live different ways playing their songs, they discover like a moment in time, like a random ass moment, and then they just it's like a universal throughout the cloud. Everybody's fucked up on like acid and shit, and they all just discover this moment together, and they're just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" I still don't get the Dead. I still don't really listen to him, but that's kind of like how he's described him, and I've heard other people describe him, and that shit's just kind of I don't know live to me. Yeah, the Doors are. I fuck with the Doors. Jim Morrison. Yeah, I can see it with like the style and shit like that. Bro, I didn't listen. I've never listened to the Doors until like 2 months ago. I just like played their whole discography while I was like working and shit like that. And bro, I was just like, bro, how the fuck have I never heard this? I heard it like a while back when I was little, and it just sounded like bar music. And then I listened to it again, and I was just like, bro, this is like, goddamn, what have I been missing out on? Hmm. Well, the complexity, it's like you got this like wild keyboard playing that like it's like jazzy blues, but like real fast and psychedelic. And then you have like Jim Morrison just like creating these like crazy like melodies. Like I don't consider him like the best singer in the world, but like the way he can create these melodies and the words aren't real complex. They're real simple, but it's just like the keyboard and the melodies, and then all the little extra, like what I call like appetizer on top of it, just like forms together this like beautiful thing. That's like that XX Tentacion set with like their family just like keeps making shit over and over and over and over again, just like milking that shit. The Beatles came out with like an album with John Lennon, a song with John Lennon on it, like 3 months ago. It was like I remember I was sitting there listening to the work radio, and they're like, KX555, we're gonna be playing the new John Lennon Paul McCartney song all day. I'm just like, what the fuck? That's that commerce. That's the business side coming through. Pink, you like Pink? You said Pink Floyd, right? That's like one of the things that like I know for a fact I've liked or I would like, but I just like haven't allowed myself to just like go deep down that rabbit hole. Cause their music, I know it's just like a whole world you can just get lost in with the complexities of it. I've heard their songs, but I've never listened to like an album back to back. Oh god, that was some Portobello, my boy, some shiitakes. I'm trying to think. There, every single time I try to listen to like psychedelic rock while I was like tripping, I would just get scared. I swear to God, I remember I was listening to like Jimi Hendrix one time while I was tripping, and that shit just felt like a dark shadow just covered my whole room. Like it was, I don't know, it was just I would think I was just on acid, but that shit was just too intense. I just had, and same thing with like the Beatles. Like the Beatles, I remember I put on the Magical Mystery Tour one time, and like I saw the image of like the animals on like in their costumes on the front. And I was just like, bro, fuck this, dog. I started breathing heavy. I was like, I can't do this. Yeah, I think the chillest thing I've ever listened. Like I can't really listen to too much while I'm tripping. I just like nature, like wind. Like I said, I just like if I'm outside and I just see things blowing in the wind and like the grass particles and dust, like that shit gets me while I'm tripping. Anything else is too intense. Bro, bro, I remember when me and Zane we decided to watch the Lord of the Rings. The first one on what were it, we were on acid, I think. And I remember like at the beginning, it starts off so merry. You got like Bilbo Baggins and Gandalf, like they keep swapping frames with him, like going down the road. Gandalf's coming to town, and Bilbo's just like so happy to see him, and we're just like smiling and laughing so hard. And then all of a sudden, whenever like the fucking monsters and Nazgul and shit come on, it's like the scariest shit, bro. They literally just make the whole room dark. And it's like this ominous music, like they're fucking gonna die. And we're just, I remember at one point we had to like pause it. We both paused and we were just like, just like sitting there, just fucking tweaking. But, and then I ate a whole goddamn pizza on acid, like a large pizza. I ate that whole son of a bitch. Zane was like, "No, I'm not hungry, dude." And I was like, "Eh, I'll try to eat something." And I ate it, and I just like I went in a trance with the movie. I didn't realize what I was doing, and I looked down, the whole thing's gone. And bro, I threw up so much. That shit was so bad. But the beginning of the movie is still the best experience I've ever had on acid. That shit was crazy. Like both just like were like, whenever you get like overcome with like laughter and you can't like contain your, it was like that type of shit, just like pure bliss. I felt like sad guru for a second. Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy certain times, like I did it where I shouldn't have, and it kind of like for a while I was just like, nah, I like acid way better than mushrooms. I can't control shit on mushrooms. Like I felt like I could kind of control certain things, and then I took too much acid, and then that ruined that for me. And then I started back on like little like gram and a half mushroom trips. And the last time I tripped was like a year ago on mushrooms, and I was just like outside playing with my dog in the wind for like 3 hours. I was just like, I swear, all the brown colors and shit in the grass and on my dog. I was just like, and my dog was just like sitting there like that, majestically. I was like, dog, you know what's going on right now. I feel like whenever that's my favorite part about like mushrooms. Like whenever I take them, I feel like I can like sense people's like emotional feelings. Bro, I watched a little bit of the Joe Rogan podcast in that same trip later because I had to like stop being outside because a bunch of people kept coming and going. So I went back inside and I was just chilling watching this. And I was watching one of those protect the parks where he's got all the comedian friends on there. And it was like the craziest shit. Like I could read the whole dynamic in the room. Like I could tell this one person felt like they wanted like to look up to Joe Rogan and they wanted like notice me Joe Rogan, and then the other one, it was just so hard to explain. That shit. I ain't tripped in a while. I'm in a pretty good mindset, so I might be a time. The lemon tech was what I always did. I would just like blast off in like a super powerful like 4 hour trip with that lemon tech. I remember whenever I first did it, it was so intense, but like not bad, that I was just like putting people on. I was like, bro, get you a fucking lemon. I'll give you some. I'll give you some fucking goodies, boy. You mix them together, let that shit sit, shot it down. You be chilling, dog. And then one time, I like lemon teched an eighth, and no, I didn't do nothing else for like a year. I was just like that shit. It was so fast, and I couldn't like let go during it because I was like in a house with like a bunch of people I was like uncomfortable around. So I just felt like I was like trapped in my room. That that shit was not good. Bruh. Like a kaleidoscope or some shit. That shit just like that's what scared me away from tripping so much was just like 3 or 4 times where I just lost complete control. Like I was just gone. And I did it on acid so bad one time where I was just stuck in a loop, and like I don't even remember like seeing reality. I just was like third person. I felt like I was like third person it visual, like I wasn't seeing it with my eyes. My eyes were closed, but I was like visualizing myself in a ball just over and over, like looping this thing that never lasted more than like 2 seconds. And I was just trapped there. And then it was on a fucking garage floor in a corner, bro, with like 8 other people. And I'm just like a thousand thoughts. That shit was just that was bad. And then I had like some pretty chill experiences. I remember I candy flipped one time at with like 8 people, and there was like this. It was I don't remember when it was. It was sometime around when I graduated. But this motherfucker Jacob's whole family was there with like his grandpa and shit, and I was just like tripping balls, bro. I was just like looking at his grandpa's face, just like laughing at him. I was just like, I was just, bro. We were outside and it was dark, and we were like watching them like sparkler fireworks in the grass, like in a big circle of us. And Jacob's grandpa was like right next to me, and he was like trying to talk to me, but it sounded like he was far away. And I just like look at him and just like smile. I swear to God. And then the way I pulled myself back together was like crazy. We had like went up to this motherfucker's room, and I hated tripping with these people. Like they're like my friends or my homies, but like they did not do normal people shit while they tripped. Like they would sit there and play NBA 2K while they're tripping balls, bro. Like, come on, get the basket, and I'm just like over there just like I remember I like took they were doing that and they started doing that. Zane and Adam were there chilling, and like I remember it was too much. I just put my earbuds in and I like hit my thing. The first song that came on was like Kid Cudi, Mr. Rager, and I was just like, oh. And like it like brought me back to like normal ground, and I opened my eyes and everybody was staring at me. I was just like, what the fuck? And they were like, bro, we can hear that, and I'm just so gone. That was bad. And then the salvia. Salvia made me not trip for like a while. Like I remember I was again at Jacob's house, the worst place for me ever to trip, like fucking 4 or 5 times, just the worst experience. And it was me, Zane, and Jacob, and we got this fucking salvia offline. And I remember Jacob wouldn't do it, but me and Zane were down, so we were like sprinkling some on the top of a bowl, trying to blast off, and like we had hit it twice each, but like nothing really happened besides we were high, and like we just saw like lines, like it felt like the room was there. There was a haze, and then it was just like vertical vibrating lines that were like just like a part of everything. So it wasn't really like a trip. And it sounds like I'm like seeing something crazy, but it just looks like kind of like shadowed blinds. And I'm like, bro, fuck this. This is not fun, bro. I'm about to fucking actually get something, or this was just some like fake shit. So I took I didn't put no weed in it, and I just filled up an entire bowl full of the salvia, and I cherried that bitch, and I held it in, and I looked over at Zane, and then Zane said that I just like went dark, jumped on the ground, and started like running away from something on my hands and knees. But while I was in the trip, like I was no longer me, and I was like being executed. I was dead ass being executed by like funky town people made out of coloring book. Like it was bro. The bad thing was like the way they were executing us was we were all like backpacks, bro. This is like the craziest shit every time. Like we were all backpacks. So like imagine a human body with like a backpack material on it, and we were all like on our knees on like an execution platform, and they were zipping us up. And when they zipped you up, you just saw like darkness closing in. And Zane said I was like just like running like on my hands and knees in the room. I don't remember any of that. And then I came back too, and it was like the execution platform and like Jacob's room were colliding. And I didn't know who I was, but I was seeing familiar elements of like his room, but I didn't know what it was. And they were coming together. And then whenever I came to, I remember I saw these like descending coded patterns, like fucking alien symbols, like in a matrix dissension, and it meshed back into the real world. And I didn't know who the fuck I was. Like I was seeing everything normal, and I was still like fucking like dissociated. I remember it was so I had to walk out of the room. Like they were like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Bro, am I here? Am I here?" Like that shit was like the most traumatizing fucking. I swear to God, I didn't touch. I was afraid to touch like weed for a little while after that. That shit demonic. It's fucking like that shit's like smoking the apple that the fucking devil gave Eve or something, bro. I swear to God, that shit is fucking evil, bro. I don't think I've ever heard a good trip story from that at all. Everybody I've ever heard, it was just like the craziest, most like evil shit. Bro, yeah, Ari Shafir, yeah, the fucking seahorse story, bro. That was what like made me want to do it. Well, like you don't understand, like until you do it, you don't understand like how real that shit is. Like even listening to myself describe it, I know it doesn't sound like it sounds crazy, but you can't imagine it. And then I was just like enthralled with all these stories. I'll just like watch people online. Me and Zane would just like look up videos of people just like passing out and just like going into the fucking netherworld. And I was like, bro, we gotta do this shit. And then Zane pussied out and never fucking broke through on it. Bro, he said it was like the craziest shit he's ever seen. Like he said, I was on my hands and knees, like running from my life in Jacob's room from something. And I was like, yeah, I was fucking getting killed. They were physically killing my ego. Have you have you ever been to California before? Venice is in L.A., ain't it? Let's see. I think that shit is, but I'm not sure. Oh God, bro. I'm proud of you, bro. That shit is actually kind of live, dog. That's like that like movie type shit. Hmm. The only thing I've always kind of like seen that as pretty cool. I've gotten like one offer for like the modeling shit one time before, but I know it didn't really seem that serious, so I didn't go through with it. But like my grandma, she was a model. Like she moved to California and everything, and she told me that it's kind of like that, like same thing you hear over and over, where she said like they try to take advantage of her, like like some fucking what's that guy's name? Uh Weinstein, like some Weinstein shit. Like you got to do this if you want to get here. And then she left, but that's like the only other thing that I've ever heard about it. Bro, we can't do one thing, bro. There is no doing one thing. It's like that thing I texted you, like proficiency over mastery in one thing. And like with us, that's how like I've kind of felt good. That's why I felt so good recently is like I have the ADHD like you, and like I've kind of found a way to like tame it productively. Like in the past, I've tamed it through just like consuming a bunch of different shit, but I found like a balance and like producing shit with that like ADHD type energy. Exactly. I mean, if someone watched me work, they'd probably think I was like schizophrenic. Cause like I'm sitting there and like going back and forth from like my studio room to my painting room, painting like two paintings at the same time, walking back and forth from them, then going outside and like fucking trying to like meditate to like not have a heart attack because I'm going so fast, and then coming back, bruh. I had 5 scoops of instant coffee this morning, and then I went to a diner and ate some breakfast, and I had like 5 cups there of that. I, I swear, bro, like that's how that shit got made. And then I came back and I put a little Zen magic up in my lip, and I felt like I was on like fucking uh meth. Like that's like I swear to God, bro. I've done that shit before, and that's exactly what it felt like. I couldn't I couldn't stop the ideas. I limit it to the weekends. I love that caffeine and nicotine take your ass to the top. You combine them, you combine that two. That's 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's the fucking that compound, that nootropic compound. I'm gonna make me an energy drink that's like coffee and nicotine. Start selling that shit. Call that shit brain juice. That shit is straight. My slogan will be a shot to the dome feels like methadone. Oh god, that shit. I don't know. Whenever I smoke weed, whenever I do like any like drug at all besides those two, I always feel like negative, negative afterwards. But whenever I do those, every single time I like overdo it with it, I come out with something good. So yeah, I limit myself. No caffeine after 3 o'clock. Nicotine not after 5 o'clock. I had like a good balance with it. Whenever I was like 6 months ago, when I was drinking the instant coffee and smoking a cigar with it, it was like a perfect balance of the two. Like I would sip the coffee and the small amount of nicotine slowly from the cigar was just like enough to like it's like an IV drip of focus. I swear, like it just felt like a constant, just like look. But oh shit, I got a bunch of them. Is that camera you bought a while back? I've been thinking about getting one of them. I still this all I got whenever it comes to cameras right now. I ain't used it in a while. No, I plan to, but then my music interest took over and I just spent way too much money, way more than I should have, way more than I was on the camera. Yeah. I mean, I ain't saying it as negative. I like that I spent it, but I probably I had to cut myself off on my studio because I got in this mindset where I was just like, oh, I need this piece of equipment to do this and do this. But I wasn't even like producing nothing at the time. I was just like collecting gear. And then I was just like, I had all the fucking means to do it. But I was just like, and I'm going to start doing it once I get this and once I get that. But then I had to like be like, all right, dog, you ain't, I hadn't made nothing. Like I didn't even make a fucking beat with my keyboard yet. And then I finally just I told myself, nah, you ain't buying nothing else until you make three things. I made three things, and then I bought a microphone and shit. Look at the Epiphones. The the Epiphones are like actually fucking fire. I've played like a good amount of those. See, that's kind of what I got. It's a 335 copy. Grab this my bass guitar. See, that's mine. That beauty boy. Let me see. I'll give you some tonal shit with it. I got one pedal, and it's the pedal that I would recommend anybody. This is like your best like distortion fuzz effect, and it's not like $100. That right there, that big muff. That shit. It's only like $60, but it gives you some good tone. I don't really use it though. I plug straight into Ableton. I'm trying to work on like my faster playing with like Metallica. But all I know is just like riffs. Like I keep hitting these blocks where it's like I know so many like small little riffs that it's hard for me to come up with like original shit. Cause like just like without thinking about it, I always go to those riffs and then I'm like, oh fuck, that sounds just like that riff. Like, let me think of what. Yeah, I can come up with some things. Like I've come up with like a good amount of songs. The keyboard is like where I come up with like the most of my shit because I'm like the least uh proficient with the keyboard. So I can just like a kid just like hit notes until I hear something that sounds good. But with the guitar, I don't know. it's just like a weird thing because it's the thing I'm the most skilled at musically, but it's the thing that I have the hardest time coming up with like interesting things on it. I came up with like just like punk type shit like but no, if you get that one copy, you fuck with it because this guitar, I swear, is the most like versatile I've ever played. Because you, I paid $150 for this off of Amazon, and bro, it was the craziest shit. I bought it like 4 years ago, and they literally like sued these people and like took them to court, and they had to like they shut their company down because they were straight up just like making shit that was like as quality as a Gibson, but for like fucking $100, bro. And exactly the same like with the Epiphones, they make them change like things like these horns. They make them like a little lower or like sharper, and that's like the way they get away with it. But this one, they just straight up fucking ripped off Gibson. And now you can't find one of these for like less than $400 online. Yeah, I think the next thing is I just want to like buy an actual like Strat. I like that like if you do like certain like little crisp things on there, like a reggae type shit, or it just sounds way cleaner. Like this one, because it's a hollow body, you get a little bit of like a bluesy, like muddy sound to everything. Don't practice, ain't got no crystal ball. I had $1 million, but I spent it all. Well, I'm gonna come up with something. I swear to God, I just gotta like break free of that habit of just like straight up going to just like the same two scales that I learned. That's the thing. Like, if like since you're starting out with like a bunch of habits instilled. Try to like learn as many different scales instead of different songs. Because like whenever you try to learn the different songs, you just play bits and pieces of those songs because it becomes habitual. But if you learn the scales, then you can just like solo or like play little licks over anything. Another The other thing is like, bro, practice like freestyling over like drums. I never did that shit until like a couple days or not a couple weeks ago, and I realized how shit I am. Like, bro, I can't play along or over anything, so it like hurts me whenever I try to make like a full song and play over my own shit. You gotta quit smoking the fucking cigarettes, dog. it's it's a nootropic. I had to quit cigarettes because that shit, I fucking like them too much. I would like if I was in like the 40s or the 50s, like a painter, I'd be like that little French boy with like the cigarette, like painting and shit. I'd just feel, oh, like that shit just, that release, boy, gets my, you gotta get on them reds, them red 100s, them long red 100s. Them some bitches smooth, bro. No, more you got to get the hundreds. They're like that fucking long. Them some bitches, boy. You can chain smoke. I've chain smoked whole packs of them some bitches in 2 hours before, just back to back to back. It seems like it is, but you ever smoke those menthols, bro? I'd rob a fucking nursery for a menthol, boy. That shit. Yeah. No, but you get that nice cool mint in the back of your throat. Spit it out. Go again. That shit's if any kids out there listening, if you're gonna smoke a cigarette, you gotta smoke the Marlboro Reds, my boy. You gotta be that Marlboro man, dog. You gotta chief down a red, chief down another. You gotta have three reds a sitting. This motherfucker double hitting the double right now, boy. Bro, I remember I would whenever before I started working construction and I just got into them cigars, I smoke a whole big ass cigar fucking at 5 o'clock in the morning with 5 scoops of instant coffee. I smoked that bitch till I got a headache. I was just on that fiend shit. But I swear, my best ideas would come. I'd get a headache and the ideas would start flowing. Yeah, I'm not as like super strict like straight edge as I was. Like I still don't drink or do no fucking drugs besides like nicotine or caffeine. But I kind of just started thinking like the fucking people who built the country would just like fucking drink whiskey all day and smoke cigarettes all fucking day and they got all that shit done. So it really ain't no reason to like for real. It ain't no reason to stress about that shit. But yeah, that boy RFK Jr. He about to get that big crack going. He gonna legalize all that shit. He said that he's gonna kick out the prescription drugs and put in prescription heroin and crack. That boy RFK Jr. He's running for president. Robert Frank Kennedy Jr. No, fuck. He said he's gonna legalize weed and get rid of prescription drugs. I don't condone like ruining people's lives because they want to like smoke a joint. But I can see both sides. Like I can see the side of like legalizing it all the way, and then I can also see the side that like would want to prohibit it because they think it like might stunt the like growth of a country. Like you and me talked about that in the last podcast about like how we feel when we smoke and how it like kind of is like detrimental. And I could see how like some people come off as like if everybody did this, then it would be bad for society. But I believe that the reason why so many people do it is because of the fucking it being illegal, and it's like, oh, it's illegal, so I'm gonna do it because it's illegal. Like that's why I first started smoking weed whenever I was younger. I just thought it was like cool, and then started smoking it every day, and I was like, shit, this chill as fuck. And then I was like, I can't eat or sleep without it, and then I had to stop. But the main thing is like you have that sense of self awareness, and a lot of people they just choose not to. They just choose to ignore that self awareness and just like continue. They're just like, fuck it. I know this is. I know it, but I don't give a fuck, dog. It's but you can't really change that. Yeah, it is what it is. But hey, I think this is a good point to end it. There's a nice little political discussion on narcotics. But I gotta go. I gotta take a fucking piss. But this shit was fun, bro. Definitely a positive discussion. I see that we have like little ups and downs, but that's what makes this shit beautiful. Is this like you actually see? I feel like once we get to like episode 50, and you take you go back, you're gonna be like, holy shit! You're gonna like look at a map, bro. It's gonna be like, oh fuck, that's live. I was right there, and now hey, we're gonna see this shit happen for real. Yes, sir. And I'm happy for you with this finish shit. I hope that shit works out good. You gonna have fun over there. California, like the weather there, that shit is nice. Finna have sunny days and warm weather in the winter time. Yes, sir. All right, bro. You have a good one. Peace.